Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. That over there, my defensive partner for today at Christopher Merez. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. We will not have our pal Ant Rivera here today, but he may partake in the mock draft later, and he might be chiming in on the chat conveniently here and there. So hope to have him a part of it today. Otherwise, also hope to have you in the mock draft room with us as well. We'll be doing a 12-teamer, typical head-to-head banger, Yahoo. Just trying to take a temperature pulse each week of the ADPs of everybody we're trying to pick this year and help you out here. Get ready for your fantasy hockey drafts, which for a lot of us is next week probably starts kicking off for some leagues.
Next week, the weekend after that, if you have to go into the end of October, you can, but we are gearing up for when it matters. All that hard work and practice that you've done with us over the summer is going to finally pay off. That's it. You're entering your drafts and you're going to be confident and ready.
And I mean, listen, as much as it's fun to just do the ones you do on Yahoo, when you're just kind of by yourself at night, just killing some time. It's always better to have live people in the room, especially when we're here talking you through it here. But the other thing we're going to do today, and we're going to get to that in a second here, we've been tier ranking the top 25 at particular positions via Yahoo ADP. Again, only top 25 and fantasy perspective, not what they actually do on the ice and not a complete tier ranking. So obviously some guys that would normally be higher if you did the whole position are going to be lower when we do this. Now, I will say this, right wing is probably going to be the toughest spot to draw that tier, the lines between S and A and B. It sounds like I'm trying to talk about like sexual stuff in front of people, but using code words when you talk about S and A and then the B and all that. But anyway, I digress. Right wing, also, the thing I've noticed about right wing, it's deeper than you think. Like, to me, like a knee-jerk reaction is, like left wing is deeper than right wing and right wing's more top heavy. But the more I've been drafting, the more it's like if you miss out on those first like tier left wings, like it goes quick. Whereas right wing, there's more guys eligible further down the line that I feel like are a little more rosterable. But let's not waste any time here. Let's get right to the tier ranking, the top 25 right wings. And there we go. You see a lot of the candidates up on the screen there. Let's get this properly situated. And we'll go now. When you talk about the players that are on that list, obviously, we're going to start with Nikita Kucherov. He belongs in that S tier. David Pastrnak belongs in that S tier. These are guys that are going, fourth to eighth, depending upon the draft, usually. What do we? So Rantanen too. He's still a top 10 pick. Are we okay still throwing him in here amongst the right wings? We're cool.
I would put him in there. I mean, he's on a great team. He's going to get lots of chances to generate. He's going to be able to rack up points. I don't think him losing McKinnon is going to hurt him like to the point where he's not in the S class. He's still elite on his own.
All right, so. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting because you do have to draw a division between S and A. I can make an argument for William Nylander belonging in the top. I could even make an argument from Mitch Marner. But for the interest of this, where are we drawing the line?
That's it for me. Like I would have Nylander and Marner kick off the A group. That's it. I don't think they are. I mean, maybe Marner can flirt with the S, but like it would be so hard for him to top what he's already done in Toronto. Maybe he puts up similar numbers in Vegas. I could also see him taking maybe a slight step back in terms of production with Vegas, but I don't see him in the same class as those three guys.
Listen, if they're going to make the argument against him, it's that he doesn't break 30 goals all that often, 27, 26 the last 2 years, although he had 30, 35 before that. But he's going to get you, I mean, he had 75 assists last year, usually get you in that 50 to 60 family. I could live with Marner being S tier. Nylander's only going a couple of picks behind Rantanen, and that's the only reason where it's like, is that where we draw on the line? Because, I mean, 45, 39 last year, 40, 58, 40, 47 the last 3 years. He's consistently been a 40 guy, we'll say.
That is correct. Now, here's the one problem with Nylander. As I was digging into some of the numbers a little bit deeper, Willie Nylander is a great candidate to have a down season for a couple of reasons here. A, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost a 100-point player and they did not replace him. Like they went out and they got some quarters, but they didn't replace the dollar that is Mitch Marner. And Willie Nylander last year, so career high in goals. He finished with 250, I think it's 53 shots, but he shot 17%, which is 4% better than his career number. So anytime you see a player where his shot volume drops, but his goal production goes up and his shooting percentage skyrockets, he is a great candidate to obviously have some regression. And that's because that's how the world works here. So if you move him down to his career average, that he's below 40 goals. And Nylander, yes, he could still be a great playmaker, but he's not out there to throw his weight around. He doesn't block shots. I am a little concerned about the shot volume because Mitch Marner made it happen. He's also probably going to play on a line with John Tavares and who knows who. So
Domi?
Well, Domi's hurt. So let's find out who's going to plug that hole for the minute. But the Leafs are missing a little bit of depth in their top six. And I just don't know. Some question marks started to come up in my head as I started to dig deeper into this. So I can't put him in the S class. I think he's a great A player. I think he could definitely produce. But in terms of fantasy perspective, if you're bidding on him at the highest number, it's going to be really hard for him to return that value at where he's going right now.
Also throwing up the tier ranking disclaimer ticker at the bottom again from a fantasy perspective here on the ice. But yeah, we'd still be drawing the line. But I can be sold on that. I think that's fair. You know, for Marner, until he consistently breaks 30, maybe he becomes that guy in Vegas. I don't see it though. So we're in the A tier now, and I don't have any problem throwing Sam Reinhart in here. He absolutely belongs with those guys. Also center eligibility, shoots the puck, power play stud. I mean, yeah, I mean, are we thinking about putting him ahead of Nylander or Marner, or is he firmly entrenched right behind Marner?
I mean, we're splitting hairs here. I could put him anywhere in that position just because, I mean, he's so good. Again, the problem with Reinhart, the shot volume has never been there in his career. Like he's not a guy who's going to shoot the puck 350 times anyway. So you're always kind of hesitant because if those goals don't go in, right? But he does so many other things so well that like he's fine where he is. I could leave him there. I could be swayed anyway to put him anywhere in the A class, basically.
So Subway to Shea checking in. For Apparel at Ant Rivera 86 is how I had the start of my list going with those five. So far, so good. Ant's absolutely signing off on that. So, all right. So Reinhart saying, oh, let's jump ahead in the line a little bit. Because we had the news about Matthew Tkachuk and miss a decent amount of time here. And we have talked about this on previous weeks where like it does hurt. He's a guy I was not taking in mock drafts or in real drafts because we know he's been playing banged up when he does play, and they may give him time off anyway here and there just to mitigate that. You know, here he is, you know, at least till December, they're like, so let's say about American Thanksgiving is when you might see him start skating again or a little before that. 2 months isn't nothing. That's 2 months of the fantasy season. So Matthew Tkachuk, obviously his ability would have him in the A tier, but now with the news of him missing a couple of months, where are we putting him? B tier? Is he even a C tier candidate? Like I said, 2 months isn't nothing, but there's still a lot of track left after that. But then there's the injury risk where you want to keep him fresh for the playoffs. So are you going to give him random nights off even after he gets back?
I believe that they're going to take it easy with him. And to a certain extent, right? So he had sports hernia surgery, right? He's got I think it's an abductor injury or something, or like an oblique or something like that. Like he's beat up. He was beat up coming out of the Four Nations. He took as much time as possible, probably wanted to avoid the surgery, played in the playoffs, completely banged up. And like that is 2 months is like best case scenario. And then he's got to get skating again. The way that he plays, how effective is he going to be? I can't find a reason to want to reach on him unless I'm getting a crazy discount on him. But in the C tier, he's probably turning around round 4, round 5 in a 12-team league, which is a fair value for him.
It'll be interesting when we do today's mock to see how far he falls. And that's also if some people aren't always caught up on the latest news. So we'll see how that affects his ranking there. But yeah, I was already hesitant to take him. And now he would have to, what round do I say, okay, I'm taking him now? I don't know yet. I have to evaluate that a little bit more. But he was a guy I was avoiding anyway. So I don't even know if there is a round where I'm taking him. We already knew he's, and understandably, the way the guy plays and how much he's played, yeah, his body just needs some time to relax, read a book by the pool, something. So yeah, to me that it hurts his value significantly. So I'm okay with putting him in the C tier. Now, one of your pals here from the Minnesota Wild, Matt Boldy, are we throwing him in the A tier or is he beginning the B tier?
A tier, absolutely. He's right there. He's there with Kirill. Early, listen, training camp just started. Stupid early, right, for anything, but he was skating on a line with Kirill Kaprizov and Marco Rossi. So, I mean, it doesn't get better than that for him.
Yeah, I got no issue with that. And, he's a guy that's on the rise, too. We still haven't seen the best of Matt Boldy yet. And let's face it, Kaprizov, when healthy, he's going to get the attention of other teams' top pairings. Not that he still can't produce beyond, despite that, but that does give Boldy some better opportunities there if he's away from him. So, next up, let's talk about the newest captain of the New York Rangers, Mr. JT Miller. That's a babyface JT Miller there in that picture from his first stop with the Rangers, his first time, I should say. I'm okay putting him towards the end of the A tier. I don't know if I'm ready to put him in the B tier yet because he does bring, the extras to the lineup into the categories in terms of hits and stuff like that. And he's going to get a lot of minutes with the Rangers here. They're going to play a ton out of him. He's expected to shoulder a heavy load. They already, Mike Sullivan said that they plan on putting Zibanejad on his right side. So already that gives you some good vibes there. So let's put him in the A tier.
Yeah, listen, if you thought he bullied Elias Pettersson, he's about to bully Mika Zibanejad into whatever he was dealing with, and last year with that just poor effort. But yeah, JT Miller is going to drive that team, and there will be no passengers. He is going to drive everybody with him, and he's going to do it by example. He's going to pick up, score goals, rack up assists, throw his body out there. He's not going to slow down.
And they're giving him a guy like Will right now scheduled to be Will Cooley on the left side that goes out and does all the other stuff. So JT Miller maybe doesn't have to worry about that stuff as much. But nonetheless, listen, I'm excited about the Rangers' top 6 this year if Lafreniere can get going with Trocheck and Panarin. But again, it does leave a little bit of a question of who that third line center is going to be down the middle there. So, that's what training camp's for. We'll see who emerges. That's not what we're doing today. Today, we're tier ranking the top 25 right wings via Yahoo ADP for the tier ranking here. Jason Robertson, are we still okay with Robertson? Are we still in the A tier or is he leading off the B tier? Because I lean towards leading off the B tier, but I could, I'm okay with him being at the end of the A tier.
No, he can't be in the A tier. The production has been there, but he's been really inconsistent of late. The last couple of years, the shot volume is just not there. Sometimes, he has the skill. There's no question about it, but there's too many gaps sometimes in his play, and I don't like that.
All right. So I'm not done with the A tier yet because I know one guy I want to put up there that's not going to get any argument from either of us is Mr. Tage Thompson. Hopefully we're better with falling in love with the Sabre this time around because it did not work so well for Devon Levi. But nonetheless, there's a lot of reasons to be excited about Tage Thompson. We thought he was omitted from Team USA wrongly for Chris Kreider last year. Speaking of the former Ranger, Ant's checking in. Excited about the Rangers, but not about those Centennial jerseys. I don't love them. I think they're fine. I think you guys are being a little too harsh. Yes, it's supposed to be bland because it's supposed to be the celebration of their 100th anniversary. It's supposed to be and they can't go with that dark navy blue because they've already done that a bunch.
That is the worst jersey I've ever seen.
Okay.
That is a Friday 4 p.m. we had to put this together. That is a college hockey jersey from a $1 billion franchise. That's what it just says. Rangers. They slapped on the worst color blue they found, the red stripes, some white, and they just said, "Hey, hit the send button." The patch is cool. I think the patch is fine. but that whole jersey is miserable. It's terrible, and they should burn it.
The reaction I've seen from the fan base has mostly been okay with it, but nonetheless, it's not a jersey I'm going to run out and buy, but I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I think it's okay. So there we go. So no argument with Tage Thompson being in the A tier. As we look at this list here, is there anybody else where you for sure are saying A tier, or are we firmly in the B tier? Candidates for a potential A tier inclusion would include maybe a Clayton Keller, Adrian Kempe, or are we in the B tier?
We're definitely in the B tier.
All right, so I'm going to just throw, so if Robertson's there, Keller belongs there. I'm putting Kempe there because he gets you hits too.
Yeah.
Jesper Bratt, no problem with that. I wasn't even trying to rhyme, but that worked out pretty well. Is there anybody else here that firmly belongs in the B tier? Are we talking to Connor Bedard on a bounce back? Marty Necas possibly filling the Rantanen role, obviously not to the same level, but could still produce a decent amount, especially skating next to McKinnon. You know, Ovechkin we've talked about. You know, any of these other guys that were like, all right, definitely B tier.
Definitely B tier. We're not going to disrespect Cole Caulfield because he's going to score 40 at some point, and he's as close as he's ever been to it right now. He gets another proven superstar in Ivan Demidov to help take some of the pressure. He's not the only pure goal scorer on this team. A healthy Patrick Laine means that at least your opponent has to respect the others, and that's going to open up some space for him. He was already good when he was the only option. I can't imagine how much better he's going to be once there's, you know, others who can take off some of the load from here. I would put Marty Necas in that group. Rumors are like he doesn't want to sign in Colorado. I don't know if how true that. If I'm Marty Necas, I don't want to leave Colorado. Because if I get to play next to Nathan McKinnon, that's going to put some dollar bills.
That's quite the gravy train.
Yeah. Listen, I would ride that. I would ride that train all the way to the bank.
I am bathing in that gravy. I don't care.
He's going to play so much hockey, and he's got the spot, right? He's got the power play time. He's going to be attached to McKinnon's hip. He's not a centerman. Like, he doesn't really play center. He doesn't take faceoff. So it's not like Rantanen where he could play center. So they tried it at times when they didn't have depth. Like, Necas is a winger, and he has the speed to compete in the way that Colorado wants to play, which is up and down the ice. So I don't know, man. Maybe the restaurants in Denver are really bad, but
no, I've been to Denver. It's good food there.
That were big, but I can't imagine it being worse in Carolina. So, I mean, this seems like a great spot for him. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe in it, but I think his value goes up just because of who he's attached to.
I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing. He's not going to do everything that Mikko Rantanen did when he was on that spot with Nathan McKinnon. But take a guy like Necas, so let's face it, was held back in Carolina due to lack of strong offensive talent. You know, I know most teams don't have a Nathan McKinnon, and they have Aho, but that never really worked. Aho and Necas. He's now next to McKinnon, guy who goes third overall in fantasy drafts. He's a perennial, candidate for the Hart Trophy. You know, Arturi Lehkonen, is going to do all the dirty work and all the other stuff on the other side of the line. There is Necas is a guy that I haven't been getting in drafts because I'm waiting too long on him, and I'm not ready to pay the cost just yet for he could be a potential guy that's been sneaking at the end of the third round, fourth round. See where he goes today. Yeah, I got no problem putting him to close out the B tier. We do have about 9 guys left that have to fill out the C and D tier. So now we're in the C tier. Listen, Matthew Tkachuk, we said would be higher, but already we know he's going to miss 2 months, and we know they're going to be careful with him and have him nice and fresh for March, April, and beyond. So that really hurts you from a fantasy perspective because we don't really, March is important, but you got to get to March. So we're going to put Ovechkin there. We're going to put Bedard there, and he does have that bounce back potential for sure. But, and Ryan Donato is good, but, he doesn't necessarily have a great cast around him either. Brandon Hagel, no problem throwing him there. We got next year. We got Mr. Matvey Mishkov. We've got Wyatt Johnston, and we got Seth Jarvis, who's got the triple position eligibility here. So who else are we putting in this C tier, and where are we drawing the line for the D tier?
I would put Jordan Kyrou in there, right? We talked about him earlier. He gets a spot. I think Jordan, somebody's got to score in St. Louis. Somebody's got to do the dirty work, right? And as long as he's playing next to Robert Thomas, he's going to cook. Let him cook. That's what it is, right?
That's basically a perfect pairing, a pass first center that is sublime with his passing and a guy who just has an absolute trigger. I mean, listen, I know Thomas and Kyrou is not, something you're going to write home about for elite top lines in the league, but it's very underrated.
And you know what Robert Thomas is going to give you? No shots, no goals, no hits, no block shots, 60 plus assists. You're signing up for the Temu.com version of Nick Backstrom. That's what you're buying with him. So Kyrou's going to be the beneficiary to it. Michkov kind of closes out that C tier, and I would put him at the back for sure. We saw flashes of him once Tortorella left. I think everybody, eased off a little bit, and he's got the skill. The Flyers have enough skill around them to help him. We'll see.
Listen, if we're doing potential, if we're giving Tage Thompson the end of the A tier because of the potential he's got this year, then Michkov, like we said, a full season of no Tortorella. So they're starting clean this year. They're going to start the way they want to play. There's not going to be any of that stuff that he had to deal with early in the season. Yeah, the Flyers are not a playoff team. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year. They're going to be an interesting to keep an eye on. But before we continue on, because we are flying through these tier rankings here, and we do have State of Survival checking in, of course, just got here as this right wing. It sure is. And Ivan Demidov, he is not top 25 Yahoo ADP at his position yet. So I will say the 5 that did not make the cut, that will say 25 to 30, was Lucas Raymond, Valerie Nichushkin, Nikolai Ehlers, Timo Meier, and Travis Konechny again. So Konechny being out on left wing and right wing. But it's going to be it's mock draft sign-up time. We got to get that done here. And let me get to the page so make sure everybody gets in the room. We are doing a 12-teamer. We'll go in 6 minutes. So let's see here. Share my screen. Yeah, this is real fun to do this live. There we go. Appreciate you sticking with us here. So everybody make sure they're signing up in the same room. Here we go. It's Zamboni, ends in 313. Let me drop the I'm going to join here. I'm going to go third today. I'm going to do a McKinnon build. Okay. There we go. Make sure everybody gets in the room. I see Chris in there. And I'll drop the mock lobby chat in the chat just in case anybody needs it. Make it easy on them. See if they can try and get in here. All right. So I'm in the waiting room there. We still got about 8 spots left if you want to get in. It's mock draft Zamboni 226-7313. But let's get back here to the remaining of the right wing tier rankings because we do have a little time here. And back up here. So are all these guys going in the D tier, or is there anybody else that belongs in the C tier? You got Drake Batherson, Seth Jarvis, Alex DeBrincat, and Wyatt Johnston. Johnston's the only one I could make an argument for, but I would probably have him start the D tier.
They're all D players there.
Okay.
I know. And it wasn't hard at that point. I think maybe Seth Jarvis is the only one who doesn't get enough love. But again, I think that's just because the way Carolina plays. They're not set up to be a team that's going to go out there and push the pace offensively. They don't go out. They don't that's the team that they are. They go far. They're consistently eliminated in the Eastern Conference Final. So the consistency is there. It's just they don't play fun fantasy hockey. They play like every coach wants them to play, or exactly like Rob Brundamore wants them to play, which is tight defensively, good checking team, well in all 3 zones. That's them.
Here's the other thing I'll say too, as we get the tier up on the screen there, so you can see how we're finishing up there. Last year, Seth Jarvis was playing on the right wing on the top line, so that increases. He had 35 and 37 last year, or 32 and 35, excuse me. He's gonna probably be centering that second line with Taylor Hall. Hall is a goal scorer, so he's gonna be likely to become more of a pass first guy there too on the second line. So I don't got a problem putting him down there. Drake Batherson and Alex DeBrincat to me are perfect. If you're just talking amongst the top 25, those are D tier guys. Those are still good right wing 2s. If you get to that point in the draft and you need to get one, that's certainly not a bad one to grab. Wyatt Johnston. I know Ant's big on him. That's one of his guys. He's got to do it this year again. He does that, he moves up, I think. But I think we've pretty well achieved a strong grouping here. I don't really see, I'm sure somebody will complain and be like, how could you have this guy here and this guy here? But within the tiers, as we have a couple of minutes here, are there any orders you would change within those tiers?
No, this is 100% correct, by the way. This is 100% correct. We've come, we have, we've done our part. We've put together the best lineup possible. So maybe it's missing Demidov, but you know what? He's not top 25 yet. Not yet.
I'm going to make a slight tweak. I'm going to put Keller over Robertson. That's going to be, and I'm tempted to, but Robertson has the ability to get back to where he was a couple of years ago. So I'll leave him where he is. But yeah, I think we've got it. We've done it. It's good to go. Have you seen any comments here? He keeps getting error and has been, he's out. That's why you keep getting error. It's full, my friend. You're going to have to watch this one. He's going to, and gets to make the popcorn.
What a tough day. Listen, at least the good news for Ant. I think the Mets are playing this afternoon. Didn't they win?
I mean, they could use a win. I haven't been paying attention, but I mean, it's getting to that. Maybe that's part of the reason why Ant's not here today. Is he's got to prep for what's eventually going to, start for like the Mets, season collapse that becomes, an annual tradition. Maybe he's getting everything ready for that. That's what I think is going on. Yeah.
One less person to snipe me, although Ant hasn't taken many of my players. So
now this is going to be one of our last 12 teamers before we do our actual draft, which is going to be coming up on Saturday, September 27th. We'll do that one live on the air, getting that going there. We got 2 minutes until today's mock draft. And in the room that we know for sure, besides myself and Chris, we do have the Silver Fox himself in here. 2 different Terrys, a Juan, a Danny, a Martha, a Chris, an Irv Bud 50, an Oleg's, and the number 3. So there we go. That's what we're looking at today as we got some time to kill here.
One too many Chris's in here, man. One too many Chris's.
Yeah, I know. So if he snipes you, it's like doubly bad.
Can we also talk about the fact that Silver Fox once again is picking ahead of me?
He knows what he's doing. He's no dummy.
He knows.
He's no dummy. He can't get in, fellas. I'm sorry, Ant. This is sad. You're gonna have to root for. So root for. You have to tell us who you're rooting for to do better, me or Chris. We're gonna just be those parents that divide you right now.
Divide. Yeah, that's it. You have to pick a favorite. And it has to be me.
Who are you going to live with?
Yeah, you only get to pick once, and that's it. It's forever. There's no.
There we go. Draft is loading. That's what we're excited about. And these mocks have been fun, and I'm going to miss them once we get into mid-October here. But then the good news is we replaced the mock drafts with running the board on Thursdays, going through and giving you our best picks, props, all that good stuff. Over Thursdays are usually about 5:30 Pacific Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. We get to that. Always open up with, the headlines, maybe a game and all that good stuff. But we got 2.5 minutes here to this mock draft. Of course, I'm going to shut the sounds off and get ready to go here because I don't want to hear the boop-a-doo. There we go. Let's add that to the screen. What are you looking to do at 10 today? And I know you got to be careful what you say, but
probably gonna draft a player. Hopefully one that I want. But judging how the last 2 have gone, I'm probably not going to get them. So that's what it is. I will say this: like the last mock draft we did was not as bad. I didn't get sniped as much, but I'm starting to realize that I gotta be locked in and I gotta be ready. I gotta have a backup pick somewhere because a lot of people have been doing their homework.
See, for me at 3, to me, 3 is one of the best spots you could pick at because I really don't have to make a decision. It's who you leave me with between McDavid, Draisaitl, and McKinnon.
It's true.
Sure, you can consider Kucherov. If you wanted to go crazy and overreach just a tiny, tiny bit, you could take Cale Makar there. To me, it's just you just let who falls to you fall there, and then you start to figure out what you're doing on that 2-3 turn because that's going to be your important picks.
You should just not draft Cale Makar or Kirill Kaprizov. You should just let them fall.
I mean, I'm not
Ideally to the
considering it.
10th and then 15th pick.
I believe he was
Ideally.
talking to everybody between myself and Chris and yourself.
Just let them go. They're not good. They're busts.
They're going to be mediocre this year. There's nothing special about them.
Yeah, it's not like Kirill's at a contract year or anything, right? It's not like that's a thing.
I mean, he's not Jack Hughes in terms of injuries or anything like that. But if he does get hurt again, you do start to wonder a little bit. Maybe he starts to inch into that territory. But I don't want to put that out there either because the Wild are counting on him this year in a very tough division as we got 20 seconds to go before the draft kicks off. And number 3 is picking 1. So see what he does there.
That was a good time. Maybe he wanted the 3rd pick, but you already took it from him.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's possible. Well, that was easy.
All right, so McDavid. Oh, I do have a decision to make here. Oh boy.
Oh.
Draisaitl or McKinnon. All right, so because of what I said about left wings before, that's it.
Really?
I'm gonna take him over McKinnon.
Interesting.
Why you would take McKinnon over Draisaitl in that same spot? I'm surprised. Yeah, let's talk about Kucherov going second. 100%. But
Kucherov's a little early, but Kucherov could also rack up 100 assists. So
there's that. And listen, I get what McKinnon is, but again, like because center's deep, if you're giving me a guy that at left wing, we're like, yeah, there's some quality at the top part of left wing, but once it goes, it goes. That's going to be my deciding factor there. And then McKinnon left on the board still. Cale Makar 4th. All right, so Irv Bud lucks into McKinnon at pick 5. Terry takes Kaprizov at 6. No shock there. We have seen Makar go at 4. That's not that crazy. Matthews at 7 to Silver Fox. And now Juan on the clock here. See what he does. I mean, Pasternak is the pick unless you want to go goalie with Hellebuck. He takes Pasternak. And then we'll see what Danny does. I think Chris is waiting on a guy we talked about earlier. See if what Danny does here, if he goes goaltending or a wing, or if he maybe grabs a Quinn Hughes. He's taking his time. It is a tough. I can understand with this pick because there's a lot of ways you can go, and it will affect your build here. So you do got to be careful about what you make here towards a pick you make towards the back of the first round here. Takes Brady Tkachuk. Chris is happy about that. That's not a guy he was considering.
Nowhere near consideration, to be honest. There we go. I said nice things about him. So
yeah,
if I think he's an S-tier player, then he deserves to be the starting of my team.
If you're getting Mikko Rantanen at 10, which is where you can't really be too upset about that. Like that's where he's been going, and it's really doubtful that he doesn't get you the production of a 10th overall. So Martha on the clock now. And then Terry 2 will turn round 1 and begin round 2.
You think it's just like the same Terry, but drafting in 2 different spots?
I mean, that's why profile photos can be helpful to decipher that, but we'll see. I'm going to say it's the same Terry. Why not? We'll call him Terry 1 and Terry 2. He takes So Kyle Connor goes to Martha, and then Connor Hellebuck rounds out round 1 with pick 12 there. And then to open up the second round, we'll see what Terry does here. I would be surprised if it wasn't Quinn Hughes or Billy Nylander or Jack Eichel or Marner. Those would be the 4 that I would look at here. Those are my 4 options. It's being on the turn is great.
A lot of good options there.
He goes double goalie, double dips, takes Vasilevsky. Wow. Interesting. There goes Quinn Hughes. So a Connor Hughes pairing for Martha like that with Rantanen as Chris's first pick. I have a feeling I know he's taken here. Yeah, I mean, that's the pick. That's a Rantanen and Eichel. It's a good 1-2 punch.
It's a good way to start a draft.
So Danny on the clock here with Brady Tkachuk. We'll see who he pairs him with to open things up.
That double goalie, though, I thought that would. I'm hoping maybe that starts the run, but
I don't mind it, but because you have to draft right the rest of the way, and you have to be careful about defenseman runs. And hey, we talked up Marty Natchez. He all of a sudden goes all the way up in round 2. That's a little early for him from where I've been seeing. There goes Igor Shesterkin, so you may have gotten your goalie run. But Natchez going a little early there, but that's a move that maybe at the end of the year you're like, okay, you got him where he belonged. That could certainly happen.
That is quite early.
So
Respect,
Silver Fox
though.
on the clock here with Austin Matthews in his first round pick. He takes Zach Werenski, so he gets his forward D pairing. Kaprizov Nylander, very good 1-2 punch there with Irv Bud 50, who had the luck of McKinnon falling to him at 5th overall. He takes the goalie. He goes goalie with Jake Ottinger, Chris on the clock. Other Chris on the clock now. I got
at least there's a Chris who has a Kale McCarr this year.
It's not going to be you.
It's not going to be me, but it's somebody.
So McCarr, you got less than 10 seconds here for other Chris to make his pick with McCarr, and then I'm on the clock here. I know who I want. I just hope he doesn't take him, and he takes Evan Bouchard. So he double dips on defenseman early.
Wow. Okay.
It's really tough for me to pass on Mitch Marner at the end of the second round. I got to do it. Give me a Draisaitl Marner 1-2. So Kucherov, Kachuk for Oleg's. Probably did not see the news on Kachuk because with that 2-month, subtracted from his schedule, he is not a late second round pick unless you have like 5 points for hits. It's some crazy. Number 3, who's picking 1 overall, he had McDavid. We'll see what he does with his 2 picks on the turn here. I mean, I'm going to level with you. I have to go defenseman or goaltender here. With both of those runs look like they're going. I'll probably lean defenseman here as Braden Point goes. So he does the center double dip with David and Point. And to open up round 3, we'll see what he does. I don't love going double dip center there. I mean, Braden Point is he's a second round pick, and maybe there's some value there, but with how deep center is.
The problem is they're just center eligibility, right?
Exactly.
There's no like wing, so you can gives you some roster movement around. They're pure centermen.
So there goes Mackenzie Blackwood. All right. I'm going to...
Yeah, 3 is not putting together a good team. I think he's aiming for last.
So, oh boy. All right. So Mackenzie Blackwood and Sergei Bobrovsky could go. I'm not going to take part in this goalie run. Give me Rasmus Dahlin. I'd rather get my cornerstone number 1 defenseman and then figure out my goalie situation as things come back here.
Oleg's just avoiding paying taxes completely with the players he's gone with.
He's all Florida.
He has not paid a single state tax right there.
Oh, that's going to be good. There'll be good savings for him, and the players will be happy too with what their take-home pay is later on. As other Chris on the clock here, he double dip with defensemen with McCarr and Bouchard. Have to imagine
a 3rd one.
Wow, yes, there it is. There we go. He's trying. You know what?
He's cooking something. I don't know what it is, but he's cooking something.
This is what mock drafts are for, though. To try crazy builds. It's 5:30 Eastern, 5:42 Eastern. Excuse me. Why not? So there we go. Victor Hedman, Artemi Panarin said picks are moving. Sam Reinert, Philip Forsberg, Jack Hughes, Matthew Nye. A little early for him for Danny as Chris comes back on the clock here with pick 34.
If you're gonna give them to me, we'll take them, right?
So he gets one of his wild with Matt Boldy. Martha on the clock here. She gets Crosby at the end of the 3rd round. I think that's great value. As Terry's going to round up round 3 here. We'll see who he takes.
And Danny's got high hopes here for Nyes and Natchez.
Listen, that's boom or bust potential. There's certainly a lot of boom potential with those 2 guys with what they're going to be counted on to do. There's those Jesper Bratt, quality winger there. Anthony chiming in earlier today. Let's see. I'm getting distracted because they're doing construction. Not in the S tier. No, not in the S tier this year, but maybe next year. So we after Suzuki, Tage Thompson. So Chris gets Tage Thompson early in the 4th round. He's not
Tage Thompson and Matt Boldy. What world am I living in?
For once, Chris is happy with his draft.
What a day!
What a day!
It's a shame this team will never come to fruition, but so far so good.
All right, so 4 picks till it gets back to me. You see Josh Morrissey go after Jake Gensel. I'm glad.
Honestly, I knew it wasn't going past Silver Fox. I knew that. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at you, Craig. I knew it wasn't. I knew if Tage Thompson was there, he wasn't coming around again. So,
all right. So after Silver Fox takes JT Miller, Macklin Celebrini goes. That's a guy I was potentially looking at if he had gotten back to me. Irv Bud took Panarin, Jake Ottinger. And let's see who else he got. So he takes Robertson, Mackenzie Weegar, and there I am. Here I come on the clock. And see who's available. All right. I got a decision to make here. All right. I don't think he's going to make it back to me. Give me Adrian Kempe at the end of the 4th round. A Marner, Kempe. There goes Barkov, and we'll see who rounds up. If I get, there's 2 guys I'd be happy with coming back to me with the Kempe. So we'll see if it happens. Kempe's a good across the board guy. Marner, Kempe at right wing. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that.
It's not only just like their production, the same thing like you said, like he hits as well, and he's a player who can score. So,
and he's entrenched in that top line on the Kings and on the top power play unit. So I know they're not looked at as a beacon of offense, but people have to put the puck in the net there, and he's one of them. Ovechkin rounds out round 4, pick 48 overall to number 3, and he's got a pick to make here to open up round 5. So again, there are 2 players I would be ecstatic that gets to me. So as long as he doesn't take one of them, I know I'll get one.
Does Chris have 4 defensemen?
He does. He took Mackenzie Weegar. That's because I came on the clock so quick. We didn't have time to acknowledge that.
This man just locked up every just defenseman. He's just like, I'll take them.
Now I got a decision to make because both of the people I wanted are on the board here. But we preach the importance of defensemen this league and making sure you have a cornerstone top 2. Darlene and Adam Fox. I'll take that. Looks like maybe a green wave is coming here.
Chris staying true, man. He's only drafting defensemen. That is the wrong Chris, and I think he's doing it the wrong. How many do we start? 4 or 5?
4. So he's got
he's got an extra one just in case.
I always carry a bench defenseman because you should have somebody that rotates in just to make more mileage out of your bench spots. But I mean, man, maybe he's just not going to look at defensemen the rest of the draft. I don't know what he's doing there, or if he's just trying to be a rabble rouser. But after him goes Moritz Seider, Tim Stutzla, Jake Sanderson. Juan takes Ilya Sorokin. That's one of the guys I was considering there. I just pass up Adam Fox, who I think is going to be a Norris finalist this year. Mark Scheifele goes pick 9, round 5. Chris on the clock here with, we'll say primary Chris on the clock here with pick 58. He's a happy camper. He's got Thompson, Boldy, Eichel, Rantanen. This is probably his favorite draft. And he gets Lane Hudson. I mean, you better be in a real good mood later. That's all I have to say.
Good day. It's a good day.
Lane Hudson, Aiden Hill. I hope a second goalie run doesn't start here. What's interesting to me, and he's not going to make it back to me so I could talk about him, Connor Bedard could potentially make it into the 6th round here. I know we're not in a keeper league, so obviously that changes his value, and I understand it's Chicago, but man, like if he's still sitting there at this time, like you almost have to take him. And the fact that he's got center and right wing eligibility. There goes Wyatt Johnston ahead of Bedard. Terry.
I had to take a defenseman because I feel like Chris is going to take them all.
So yeah, I have to. What I'll have to do is I'll have to make sure I always take my defenseman on the swing back before him. I take him. Dougie Hamilton goes there to Terry. So Martha on the clock here. She takes Matvei Mishkov again. Connor Bedard just sitting there. Is Chris going to take him? Is he going to pair Thompson with Bedard?
Man.
It's tough. It's tough to pass up. I know Cole Caulfield's there too. You got a choice to make, my friend.
It's like you can read into my soul. I know, you can read right into it. It's fine.
3. There, he takes Bedard. There goes Hagel. I would be very surprised if your boy makes it back to you. Because I might take him if he gets all the way.
He's not making it back.
There goes Pedersen. There goes Cole Caulfield to other Terry.
Yeah,
so there you go.
It back.
Irv Bud 50. See what he does here. There's a player I'd be ecstatic to get if he makes it 3 more picks. Jacob Chikrin, another defenseman for Chris. That's 6.
He's got this figured out, man. He's got a whole team of defensemen. Good for him.
You know, like this kind of like devalues the mock because it takes away what you would expect. Give me Dustin Wolf first of all.
All right, he's throwing a wrench in it. I'm okay with it.
Throwing a wrench in it. So you got to be able to adapt. So after I take Dustin Wolf, Mikhail Sergachev at pick 611, Jordan Kyrou, who's gotten a lot of tire pumping on this show today, close out round 6. Alex DeBrincat opens up round 7. Jacob Markstrom goes, and I'm back on the clock. And it feels like maybe a goalie run could be happening soon. Do I have to take a defenseman here because of what Chris is doing to get my
Chris
D3?
is taking a defenseman. There's no shot he's not. That's all he has lined up. Nothing.
Yeah, but left wing is 2 though. I gotta make it. No, fine. Harley. No, and auto pick Thomas before I could make the.
I told you he took a defenseman.
Well, listen, I don't mind Robert Thomas. It's not who I was going to pick there.
I just this was curious because I was looking at him and I didn't want to say anything before anybody take him, but Yahoo has Robert Thomas projected at 96 points. And I'm like, well, I don't know where he's getting all of those from, but
yeah.
Okay.
75, maybe even 80. Sure.
He's got 70. They have him at 70 and then 26 goals. I don't know where he's getting those goals from. I guess it's time. I wanted Thomas Harley. He wasn't coming around again, but I need a goalie now. So.
I was taking him had I pulled the trigger quicker. There's another defenseman I'd be okay with getting on the way back. I don't think he's going to make it to me, though, but we'll see. So just to kind of recap, since my auto pick fiasco, pick 7-3, I take Robert Thomas instead of Harley. Unfortunately, Darnell Nurse to keep the run of defensemen going for other Chris, Nikolai Ehlers, Irv Bud, Darcy Kemper, Anthony Stolarz back-to-back, Sebastian Aho, Danny takes Harley. Chris gets his first goaltender and Logan Thompson, Neil Pionk. And then Dylan Gunther rounds out round 7 as we begin round 8. Pick 85 is Gabe Velarde. That's certainly a little bit of a jump there. There goes Jordan Binnington. So goalie 2s are starting to go. Might be time to act on that with Chris back on the clock here.
So much disrespect for this man. I don't know what he's done, but he deserves more respect.
Yeah, Nico Hischier in the 8th round. I mean, that's tremendous value there. Again, maybe that's somebody. I'm not going to besmirch Robert Thomas because I like him as a player, and I know it's going to help me a lot with assists, but that's not the pick I want to make. And there goes the other defenseman I would have taken, Seth Jones. So there goes Lucas Raymond, Seth Jones, Linus Olmark with Irv Bud back on the clock here. And I got to figure out what I'm doing. My pick. There goes Rupe Hintz and Dylan Larkin. And just like no defenseman.
I was sure he was going to take another one just in case.
So was I, but apparently not. Let's see here. All right, we talked about this guy today. No, I'm not ready to do that yet. All right, I'm going to do a little early, but I'm taking him. Thomas Hertl. Slightly early, but he's been creeping up in ADP. I've noticed people taking him, around this spot, end of 8th round. Time to go get guys if you want them. There we go. And I'm a little nervous about left wing now. I got Draisaitl and Hertl that could play on the left side, and we know about the center depth there. I'm okay. Now, my question is, am I going goalie 2 or am I going defenseman here? There goes John Carlson.
I was going to say, I'm going to wait to find out what Chris does.
All right. This guy has kind of been going in drafts, and I think this is an appropriate time. Let me get my 3rd defenseman there in Jackson Lacombe. There goes John Tavares. Listen, Lacombe as a D3, great. D2, probably a bit of a stretch. So there goes Seth Jarvis, who was another guy I was considering at that last pick with Hertl. Luke Hughes goes, Kirill Marchenko, Drake Batherson, UC Saros, Chris back on the clock with pick 106. Pick 910.
I mean, somebody's got to play defense in Boston, right?
And that's the thing. Like Charlie McAvoy is the other guy if I was going to take a defenseman there, but I'm going to go with the upside, Lacombe. Things are going to be bad in Boston this year. So if, McAvoy's banged up, I could see them being a little cautious with him. Quentin Byfield, he goes there after McAvoy. We'll see what Terry does to round out. He takes Shane Goss to spare. He's going to be running, that power. We'll see if he's going to be running the power play in Carolina. Morgan Riley goes, then Logan Stankoven. Chris back on the clock here with pick 10-3 on 11 overall coming up.
Can't let him go another round. He's not coming back.
Ivan Demidov, there's your guy. We talked about him earlier. Maybe he's in that top 25 of ADP for right wings next year. He's going in the 10th round. There, Mox earlier in the summer, he was going as late as like 12, 13, 14, and 12-team leagues. So he's moving up. So keep an eye on that. Zane Parik there goes for Calgary. Juan back on the clock here to Drake Batherson and Lucas Raymond. So he's getting some of those like bargain find wingers there. And in rounds 8 and 9, that's where you should be getting those guys to fill your wing positions there. So he takes Nazem Kadri, Samuel Montembeau, Eric Carlson, all the picks since then, with Irv Bud 50 on the clock. And I need to get ready for my pick as I am on the clock after Drew Doughty and Kevin Fiala. I don't like the direction goalie's going, and I'm going to rectify that real quickly here. I don't love him as my goalie 2. He's more of a goalie 3, but the way goalies have gone, I'm going to take him. Still. There goes Timo Meyer, Devin Taves, Alexander Nikishin. I got one more pick here coming up to me.
Damn, Timo Meyer was all the way down here.
He's fallen. He needs to prove himself, I think, to a degree.
Falling off the map.
All right, I know who I want if he doesn't get taken here. See if it happens. I've keyed in on him. Be very happy to get him here in round 11. I know my Dostal pick was a reach, but I felt like I wanted to get my goalie 2 locked up before things got out of hand. I'll deal with a goalie 3 later. Give me JJ Peterka.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Very happy. I'm not as happy as Chris with my draft here. It was basically getting everybody. The only negative thing Chris could say about his draft is that he's got a Bruin on his team. That's really it.
It's true. But in my defense, I did take the best defenseman that the Bruins have.
EPA, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. So goalies, the bottom of the bin goalies are starting to go there with Kochetkov, Wall, and Swayman all going. Carter Verhaeghe, Steven Stamkos, Jake Wallman going a little bit higher in drafts. There goes Adam Fantilli. That's another guy whose ADP is climbing. I like Fantilli. I think he could have a big year this year. I think this could be his breakout year. See what Terry 2 does here. Took his last 2 picks were defensemen, one of them being Morgan Riley, other one being Shane Gostisbehere. He's got Dougie Hamilton, so maybe he takes defenseman 4. Goaltender locked up for him. He went Hellebuck Vasilevsky with his top 2 picks. He gets Gabriel Landeskog. And listen, I get the hype on the bounce back for Landeskog and all that, but I don't know about I feel like you need to be more in the teens in terms of rounds to look at a Landeskog versus like end of round 11. But it's also that point in the draft where you go and get the guys you want to get. So
hey, you start to take a risk, see how it pays off.
I won't say there are bad picks at this point in the draft with, certain obvious exceptions, but there are things to consider. And this is the time where you really got to figure out, is this guy going to get back to me? Like Aziv Boyum goes, Brock Faber goes, Cam Fowler goes. Here comes another Sia Green, and I need a D4. So it's going to be interesting. There's 2 guys that I'd be happy with my D4 with here. And I'm probably there. One of them just goes to the other Terry, Gustav Forsling, Aaron Ekblad, Alex Tuck. I'm not waiting anymore. Listen, I prefer this guy in a 12-team league to be my bench defenseman, but I'm not going to wait any longer. I want to get my D4 spot wrapped up. Give me Philip Hronik. Putting him next to Hughes has that Devin Taves effect. There goes Joel Eriksson. That's a strong pick there at 12-11. See how round 12 ends up here. I know who I want if it gets back to me. There's a couple of guys I'd be happy with here, but one I'd be ecstatic to get. See if it happens.
I hope it does for you.
Thank you. I appreciate the positive vibes because I know you're having a good day, so you could easily be a hater.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I don't even know. I had a piece of paper out to count the number of times I would get sniped.
That page is dry.
Not a single one on it. Not a single one.
2 players I'd be happy to get here.
Yeah, today was a good day.
Well, I mean, listen, there's still some rounds left.
Yeah, but I feel like it won't hurt as bad now.
A little mini Sia Green there. So there goes Bo Horvat. I'll get one of the 2 guys I want. See what happens here with Oleg's. Putting together a squad there. Joel Eriksson. There's Zach Hyman. And yeah, let's do it. Vinny Trocheck going right at his ADP. The center of that top line, play next to Panarin. I still don't understand why he's going in 13th round in that range. There goes Svechnikov. Thatcher Demko. If I wanted to take a good goalie 3, that could be a goalie 2. I could have gone Demko there, but I didn't. Juan taking Jonathan Quick. Does he have Shesterkin? He's got Sorokin and Shesterkin. Okay, so he's going with the Ranger handcuff there. It's not necessarily a recommended handcuff, but there goes Jet Greaves. So maybe me taking Trocheck over a goalie is going to come back and bite me in the keister here, but we'll see. Sean Dursey goes after Chris takes Jet Greaves. There's still one goalie I'd be happy with if he gets back to me. We shall see, though. There goes Anthony D'Angelo. Interesting pick. I don't mind it if the Matthew Schaefer wasn't there. That's what would work. I don't mind the D'Angelo pick because he played well. He was given the opportunity last year. But now with Schaefer there, I mean, yeah, maybe he starts the season running the power play, but I don't think he's going to be running it too long. There goes Logan Cooley, so maybe a guy Chris could potentially consider a snipe, Cole Perfetti, and he takes the aforementioned Matthew Schaefer.
I couldn't let him go around after you said his name. I was like, oh, we're done. he's fine. But I do agree with you though. Like Tony D'Angelo was playing in the KHL at this time last year. I bet he just like stumbled into a role because the Islanders had nobody. Right? Like he's not a quarterback of a top power play unit. So I just need Schaefer to be an NHL player, and that'd be great.
So I'm 3 picks away after you picked Schaefer, Jonathan Marchessault, Mika Zibanejad, Thomas Chabot, Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett. The Joey DeCord pick has forced my hand, even though I was going to hope to wait to get this guy on the turn, but I'll take Karel Vejmelka as my third goalie, and hopefully I get the other player I wanted. Let's see, Rasmus Anderson after Vejmelka, Pavel Buchnevich, Frank Vetrano. Oleg's back on the clock here. Don't take my guy. Don't do it. All right, he didn't. So I'm in good shape now. Now I get this guy who's probably my sleeper pick and a guy that should be getting more attention. Dylan Holloway, center left wing. He gets hits. Took a nice step forward for St. Louis this year. Could grow even more. There goes Freddie Anderson. So Chris at goaltender's got DeCord, Anderson, and that's it. So very defensive heavy. Decides to completely punt on goaltending there. That's quite the squad he built.
That is one you don't have to replicate.
No, that's one that you're like, oh, remember when that guy did that?
There's still hope. There's still hope for me here for this man. There's still hope. I'm still begging my soul.
The fact that
Alexi Lafreniere will see top power play minutes.
The fact that he's going, like, listen, I understand why he's going late in drafts, but if he actually puts it together this year, that could be the value pick of all value picks.
Here's a fun trivia question. Do you know how many power play points Alexi Lafreniere has in his career?
You want to do like an over-under?
Sure. Over under 30.
The way you said that makes me feel under.
It is under. It's actually under 20. He is 16.
He doesn't
in
get
5 years. This is his 6th year in the NHL, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's not.
we'll
Listen,
see what Sully does with the power play units this time around. But
I'll take one out of your playbook here for a little bit.
Oh, William Eklund, I like that pick, but I'm not looking at what do I got? So at my last pick, I would look at either defenseman or a right wing, and I'm gonna have to make that pick real soon here. There's 2 left wing, right wing guys I'd be very happy to get, but I do like to carry a 5th defenseman. All right, so if he doesn't get taken, I'll take him. Otherwise, I'll go with I'll go 4D. There's 1 defenseman he just went Noah Hannafin. I should have shut my mouth. Is Irvbud 50 watching? Is it like at this point?
I feel like this. I feel like you are me from a couple of weeks ago.
All right, fine. You know what? I still have Valerie Nichushkin on the board, and I still have Owen Tippett on the board. I'm gonna have to take Nichushkin. That's fine. All right, so let's recap our teams here. I promise I'm happier with my team than my current tone of voice would suggest. But like, I was like very close to having like I don't want to say a perfect draft because my goalie 2 and 3 could be better, but just very, very, very happy with the overall build. Instead, all right, let's do your team first.
How the turntables have turned.
Oh, I have a turntable. All right, there we go. So Chris, pick 10. You start with Rantanen. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with Mikko Rantanen. Jack Eichel going exactly where I think he should be going. And then I was gifted 2 players. Probably Chris throws this off a little bit, but listen, when life gives you lemons, you make, you share it with tequila. So I took Matt Boldy and Tage Thompson. I knew Thompson wasn't coming around. I needed a defenseman. That run of defenseman, I would have preferred to take Sorokin at that spot, but I didn't get a chance. I saw defensemen starting to go. I was like, okay, let me at least get one. So I got Lane Hudson there. Connor Bedard, I was kind of like bullied into it by you. But I feel like that's That's okay. Logan Thompson, I needed a goalie, only makes sense. Nico Hischier is just criminally being undervalued here. So I don't know
All
why.
summer long, he's just not
I don't know
going.
what he's done, man. When Hughes was out, like he took over and he was hurt twice last year and he still put up really good numbers. So Charlie McAvoy just makes sense. A little bit of a reach on Ivan Demidov, but never too early to pick the rookie of the year. Carter Verhaeghe's not getting enough love. He's going to skate on that top line with Kachuk out as well. There's a top power play spot with his name on it. He signed a big deal last year. Not a great year. I think he bounces back. Then I got Bouillon. I'm falling more in love with Bouillon and what I think the Minnesota Wild are going to do and how they're going to deploy him. Brock Faber went just before. I got lucky. I needed a goalie here because some of them were starting to go. Jet Greaves, it's not where I want it to be, but that's where we are. And then I take Schaefer. My defense group is extremely young. Probably not going to score many goals, but I locked that up earlier in the draft. So I feel like I don't need my defensemen to go out and contribute high offensively. I just need them to exist. I hope Schaefer makes the team. If he doesn't, well, it is what it is. And then I'm banking on upside here. Alexi Lafreniere and William Eklund. I expect both players to skate on the top line. I expect both players to be on the top power play unit. So I'm banking on a couple of things that need to happen during training camp. If they do, that is great value at the end of the draft for two guys who are going to see a bump in every single offensive category, assuming they hold on the roles that they should have.
Now, I'll say this. If you asked me if I was, and I don't get hockey jerseys with players on the back anymore. I feel like once you get to a certain age, you stop doing that. But if I was going to, Askarov or William Eklund, the Sharks. Eklund is just a complete all-around player. He's not going to lead the team in scoring. That's not his job, but he's going to put the puck in the net. He's going to do all. He's an all-around 200-foot player that is far from a liability on offense. So I love Eklund. So I think that's a pretty good draft you had there. The first time, it only took till September 18th, 2 weeks before the season, for you to get to a point where you are happy with your mock draft. Now we'll do mine and then we'll do Silver Foxes because that guy just he puts on clinics every week. May as well give it a little spotlight. Let's do my team here. And I like I said, I came very close to a perfect draft or a draft I could be completely happy with. So it was not, I didn't expect to have to make a decision between Draisaitl and McKinnon, but I figured one of those guys would be left. But again, because Draisaitl has that left wing eligibility and because I'm, my philosophy has shifted over the last few weeks here that left wing is definitely top heavy. And once it goes, it goes. That was the deciding factor. Mitch Marner, the end of the second round. How can I turn down a guy that's going to be playing next to Jack Eichel? I mean, come on now. Defensemen are, the first four were off the board. If I had waited another round, I would not have been happy with what got back to me, especially once you're anticipating that Chris is doing his, shenanigans there with going like defenseman with his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first 7 picks. Doesn't look at it again the rest of the draft. So I get Dahlin, which was a good move. I had a decision to make with, I almost took Fox there, but because I was worried these guys might grab a defenseman, but I was like, you know what? I want Kempe bad enough. And it worked out for me because Fox fell back to me. Almost took Sorokin there instead. Once I had gotten Kempe, I was like, all right, I'll take Fox or Sorokin. I rolled the dice that I could maybe wait a little more on goalie, and it worked out. Because listen, Dustin Wolf, I'm in on Dustin Wolf. He's not a guy I'm, zealously targeting in drafts, but he's certainly a guy I'm okay with being my goalie one, just because I know Calgary has basically, without saying it, he's their guy. They're gonna, unless he plays miserable or unless he's hurt, they're gonna trot him out there 4 out of every 5 nights. Then we had my auto pick fiasco there where I was going to take Thomas Harley as my defensive 3, but I just waited too long to click pick and ended up with Robert Thomas, which the way my team worked out, I'm okay with that because Robert Thomas ends up becoming my center 1, or actually my center 2 behind Draisaitl the way things. No, he would be my center 1 and then Trocheck would be my center 2. Peterka would be my first guy on the bench. So then I get, Robert Thomas there. Hurdle, he's a guy who's been creeping up more and more on drafts because he's going to be he's going to center that second line in Vegas there. He's got left wing eligibility. Then Jackson Lacombe, I knew I needed to, even though I knew that I was safe from Chris taking defenseman, you'll start to see a lot of green here once we get into the 7th round with Harley, Pionk, Montour, Jones, Dunn, Carlson. Look at a lot of this green here as we go from round 9 to round 12. I feel like I'm a meteorologist saying, look at all this green. And again, those still in the 10th rounds of reach, but the way goalies were going, Montembeault is, Montembeault and Binnington are the guys I really want as my goalie too. And if you get beyond that, then I think I got to hit the panic button a little bit. Sure, I could take a Swayman on a bounce back. I could take a Demko, but he's injury prone. I could take a Kochetkov because we know Freddie Anderson's injury prone. I don't want to play that game with Carolina. I think Dostal's going to break out this year. Glenville's definitely going to have a better defensive system in place, so I think that's fine. JJ Peterka, love that value in the 11th round there. Phil Hronek is my defenseman 4. Happy with that. Trocheck would have almost jumped out of my chair. I was probably going to take Dylan Holloway here, but once the cord went, I said, okay, I can't wait anymore on the goaltender because I don't. After Vejmelka, that's it. That's my floor for goalies 1, 2, 3. Beyond Vejmelka, I don't want anybody. And then Holloway, I think, is criminally going too late in the 15th round, so please scoop him up while you can. And then Valerie Nichushkin in the 16th round. Come on now.
No, that's a good team. That's a good team.
Now we got 3 minutes and change here. Let's go to the Silver Foxes team. As like I said, the guy always puts on really strong drafts. Austin Matthews pick 7. Nothing wrong with that. Pairs him with Werenski. Certainly not an uncommon pairing there for Matthews Werenski 1-2. Gets Philip Forsberg in the 3rd round. He's a guy I'm kind of avoiding just because I'm a little snake bitten based on the way Nashville played last year and just the way things got. But he could easily bounce back and have a strong campaign. He is one of the top wingers out there.
That is a ton of shot volume, though. And those 3 picks, he has shot volume from 3 players on 3 different positions. So,
listen, he's got a strong draft here through the first 4 rounds. You can't say anything about that. Gets Jake Sanderson there again. Run on defenseman going. If you don't, Lane Hudson doesn't get a lot of goals. Maybe you think he's going to have a sophomore slump. Sanderson's a solid pick there. And then you see Sergachev go not too much late. Then you see that run of defenseman there. Sergachev's, we all know how much I love him. But after Sanderson, there goes Elias Pettersson in the 6th round, which probably, that's probably going to, at the end of the year, that's probably where his value will line up. I know you're not high on him having a bounce back year. I just think going into Vancouver with a clean slate this year, no JT Miller saga in the locker room. I think that helps with Pettersson. He gets his first goalie there with Anthony Stolars. And then later on gets Joseph Wall. So he gets the Leafs handcuff, which is if you're going to if you're going to handcuff goalies, you got to do the Leafs. And listen, Samuel Montembeault, I like that goalie group there. Seth Jones, I might have taken had he had made it that far because of the way defensemen were going and because of my snafu with Harley, excuse me. So definitely love the Seth Jones pick. Kirill Marchenko gets a little overlooked there, but going to be on that right wing in the top line in Columbus probably. We talked about that. Tom Wilson, everybody's favorite. Listen, it's a banger league. Tom Wilson's going to do that for you. And he scores too. So
as long as he doesn't get suspended, he's going to throw hits. So you're fine.
Dorofeev from Vegas. We'll see what his power play role is this year. Thomas Shabbat. So he's double dipping on the Senators defenseman there. I don't mind that because we really don't know who the top dog is going to be there with Sanderson and Shabbat. And they're both fantasy viable defensemen either way. So if you're going to own one, you can kind of own, but you can make it a key to own both. And I don't mind that. Kent Johnson there. He goes big on Blue Jackets there as a 15th round pick. Also a guy that has triple position eligibility, I believe, which helps along with a Pavel Buchnevich and a Seth Jarvis. He's on that list as well. Then Bowen Byram as your bottom defenseman there. He's going to play in the top pairing in Buffalo. He plays next to Darlene. I don't mind that in the end of the round. Again, my only thing there is really being I don't listen. Chushkin as a consolation prize in round 16. I'm fine with. I'm not bitter about it at all. But that Hannafin pick would have made it perfect.
I'm not bitter about it,
but
yeah, not bitter about it. No. Again, Silver Fox is putting on. A man doing his homework. Unfortunately, you love to see it. It's just unfortunate that he's going to have to do it against both of us.
So there we go. There's the mock draft in the books. That's another 12-teamer. Those are always fun to do. One last look at the board there as we scroll down. Chris, happy for the first time. I promise I'm happy with the draft. Sometimes you get a little greedy and you want it all. You don't get it all, but you want it all. So there we go. Mock draft 10 in the books. Chris, that was a good one. We enjoyed that.
It was good. Yeah. No, listen, I'm ecstatic. I don't know about you. I'm having a blast.
So I'm more of a Sunday through Thursday-ish work week. So this is how I wrap up my work week. I'm going into my weekend very I'm going in pretty happy here.
I'm actually not gonna just like sometimes when I get the email after from Yahoo about my team, I don't even open it. I just delete it because like that's what I did 2 weeks ago. I didn't want to see that team again. I might actually open this one and like reminisce about the team that will never be.
Have some fond memories. Craig checking in, the Silver Fox himself. McKinnon 5th is wild. Completely agree. Really bummed he didn't get Tage. Listen,
Happens, man.
if he's still there in the 4th round and Chris or I are ahead of you, he's not coming to you.
You know, read the room.
It's just not happening.
You know what's happening.
And that might be the kiss of death for Tage Thompson this year because we both felt this way about other people.
We did. If Tage Thompson falls off a cliff and has a terrible year, we know it's us.
Then we might have to stop mocking, or we might have to stop falling in love with people.
Or we just blame the Buffalo Sabres for having such a terrible team.
They do make an excellent scapegoat. That is for sure.
That's true.
Please email us. Do you got any thoughts? totalhockeynow@gmail.com besides reaching out at us at either at Pucking Thoughts, at Fuzzy Chris, at Total Hockey Now. What's coming up? I know we had our first Slapshot podcast dropped last week. We
did. It dropped. Next one's going to be on Monday. Last one we did. We looked at some of the 5. I don't want to call them rules. I call them guidelines for your draft, right? So before you sit down in this room, there are some guidelines that you need to remember. I give you some 5 good ones. Make sure you do that. Slapshot Podcast on X. Hit the link tree, and then you can, watch it and listen to it wherever you enjoy your podcast stuff.
Now, we do have an old pal of the show checking in. Marek, coming in late. Hi, guys. Listen, you are welcome here for any time and as long as you want to stay. But you saying coming in late now is like showing up to class when everybody's already like folding their binders up. Do they still do that? Do we still take notes that way? Is that a thing? People are putting stuff in their bags and you're just walking into class like, hey, professor.
I attended.
I was here. You saw me.
The one in Simpsons there where the old man's walking into the bar, puts his hat, grabs it, turns around, heads out. It's still good enough. It's still good. Hey, you showed up.
There's a security camera right there. It clearly is time stamped and shows me walking in. Mark me here. I was here.
It counts.
We love you, Marek. You're one of the loyal ones. Like we said, however we have you, always happy to have you. Not here today. He did check in earlier at Ant Rivera 86 at Subway to Shea. The Mets annual meltdown. They're just kind of lucky that the Reds, the Diamondbacks, and the Giants can't figure out their shit to try and legitimately steal that spot from them. But we'll see listen, 2 weeks, they could go on a run and give themselves cushion, but time running out for the Mets. And of course, rip and riff with myself and at Mr. Jared Moore on Mondays. Do a little NFL recap while we opens up some cards, whether it's football, baseball, hockey, whatever the case may be. But that's always an enjoyable listen or watch to begin your week. But that'll do it for this edition of Total Hockey Now. Now, next week, we got our last edition of Pierce. The goalies. I will give you guys an odds. We didn't do that when we did the odds. Following week, one other award. We're in season. At Fuzzy Chris 91. I am Fucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Back with you next week with an all new tier rankings and an all new episode of Total Hockey Now here on the Total Hockey Now YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.